I just wanted to actually go over generalized anxiety disorder, which is the mental disorder that I have, and what it has done to me and what it is doing to me. First and foremost, let's go ahead and start off with a definition, and this comes from a little excerpt from WebMD, and if you want to go there and find out more details, you can, but here's the definition. Looking back now, I have had this problem since I was a kid. It's quite obvious. I can point out examples, but I'm not going to. I just didn't know about it. I don't think my doctors knew about it back then. You know, it wasn't something that was easily recognizable. So last year, sometime around June, work was just getting so bad that it's so stressful that if I had a good day at work and it wasn't too stressful, I had to find something else to worry about because it didn't feel right not to be stressed out. And at that point, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, encouraged me to go get some help. And I did. At the end of June of last year, I actually went to go see my therapist and my psychiatrist for the very first time. The therapist diagnosed me. Talked to the psychiatrist. Psychiatrist gave me some meds to start off on. I actually have been on drugs ever since then, prescribed drugs, of course. The first set, and I'm sorry if this gets a little technical and a little boring for some people, but it's kind of interesting to me. I was actually on Lexapro, and that's actually a SSRI, or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So I was on that for a while, and I was also on benzodiazepines, and I actually still am on benzodiazepines, just a different one. Benzodiazepines are stuff like Valium, Klonopin, Xanax, all those. I was on Klonopin at the time. Unfortunately, it didn't take long for me to see that even though the anxiety was going away, for some reason my frustration levels were going up, and I couldn't figure out why that was happening. So my doctor took me off the SSRIs and put me on something called SNRIs, or serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, and eventually changed my benzodiazepines over to Xanax XR, which he prescribed 3 times a day to me. Effexor XR is the SNRI. So I'm on both those medications every day, and have been for 14, 15 months or so. I'd say my anxiety is drastically better now. It really is. I have made a lot of progress anxiety-wise. I don't worry about things anywhere near like I used to. Life anxiety-wise is much better. I'm very happy about that. Unfortunately, the anxiety actually caused a ripple effect over the years. And if any of you guys have ever seen the movie The Core, it's actually kind of cheesy in places, but I love the movie anyway. It's kind of like the ripple effect you see in there, and like you throw one big rock in a pond, not a big deal, but if you throw tons of little ones in there over a long period of time, the ripple gets really big. The waves get very, very big as they start to converge, and unfortunately, that's what my life's been like. 28 years of it, unfortunately, of anger, hate, fear, anguish, torment, all caused by my anxiety problems. I think the majority, at least, was caused by anxiety. Worrying about things, turning into just sheer fear about them. The anguish and having torment of having to wait to find out answers to things like I actually had some cardiac tests done. Everything turned out okay, but I hated having to wait for the results for that kind of stuff. So I have all this negative emotion in me, and like batting cages and driving ranges and that kind of thing are great for like one bad day at the office, but I cannot for the life of me think of a way to vent 28 years worth of negative emotions. Unfortunately, I just can't think of it. One way I've actually thought of, and I haven't done this yet, is actually cutting. I know that most people will probably jump on me for saying that in this video, but such is life. I want to actually tell you what's going on with me. I have thought about it. I have not gone through with it yet, and hopefully I'll never will, but I have thought about it. Unfortunately, and this kind of still ticks me off, my psychiatrist, I actually called him and told him what was going on one time because I was having such a bad time with everything going on, and I told him that I was kind of at the end of my rope, and he said if I ever cut myself, he would stop seeing me, and that kind of ticked me off pretty badly about that psychiatrist. And I think I've been back to see him once, but I'm thinking about changing psychiatrists. That was not cool of him. I really don't like that. The other unfortunate thing about all this negative emotion that's in me is that I have a tendency to snap really easily. Usually don't do it at my family or anything like that, but if my mind sees any chance, and I mean even the smallest chance, to vent any of these negative emotions, it will. And I don't go around picking fights. That's not something I do. But if an argument is, starting, I'm all over it and fast, and I am all over the person. And I had a nice verbal bout with my neighbor recently. Wasn't fun. Not proud of a lot of things I said, but I'm not sure I can even help some of those sometimes. They just come on because I need a way to vent my anger. Just imagine it, and some drinks are made this way, I know, but maybe if you've seen like Mr. Wizard or something, you've seen those liquids that actually, if you pour one in and you pour the other one in, they'll visually separate out. Or if you pour one in slowly and the other in slowly, they'll actually stay one on top of the other. Well, that's kind of like me. I had this very thin layer of positive emotions on top of a huge glass full of negative emotions. And all it takes is one ever so slight, just gentle bump, and those liquids start mixing up and the negative emotions just come right out. And that's not cool. And I don't like it, but I don't know what to do about it. And beginning of this year, I had to change companies. And unfortunately, my new mental health plan absolutely sucks. It is horrible. Even if the doctor is in network, the therapist is in network, it's horrible. I mean, really, really bad. And my therapist runs like $120 per visit, I think, and I just can't afford to be paying that. Go to see him anywhere from 2 to 4 times a month. I just can't afford to be paying that much to go see him. So I haven't seen him since December, and I'm not sure if he can help me with what I have or not. I really don't even know where the problem actually lies right now, so I don't know where to even begin to attack it. One other thing that kind of bothers me is that people with mental disorders in general can't have a bad day. Now, hold on a second here before you kind of call me on that one. We have bad days all the time. All our days are bad days. Some of them may be a little better than others, but pretty much all of them are bad days, especially us with long-term mental disorders. And unfortunately, though, society kind of demands that we put on a smile and pretend we're happy anyway. I don't know. I think people are just kind of they don't want to be reminded that the whole world isn't just pretty flowers and butterflies, and so society kind of demands that we put on a smile. Everyone else is allowed to have bad days, but I think we've been conditioned so much that when a bad day comes around, a really bad day, we just treat it as any other because we're not allowed to frown or to look upset or anything because, I guess society really just doesn't understand mental disorders yet, maybe? I'm not sure. But it's not fun. It really is not. I hate it. I hate having to hide how I feel almost all the time. And I know a lot of other people, not a lot of other people, but I know a few other people, and I'm sure there are a lot of other people that feel exactly the same way that I do about that. It's not fun. Anyway, I think I've actually gone on long enough about this. That should give you a pretty good idea of what generalized anxiety disorder is, what it has done to me, and what it is still doing, unfortunately. So I wanted to go ahead and let you all know about that, and I think I will call that even. Have a good. Bye.